What results do you want to be accountable for? You see, when it actually comes to creating the life that you want, you have to eventually, hopefully, sit the fuck down and look, all right, what results am I creating? Or what results am I aiming to create? And then create timelines for yourself. Tell people about the results you're going to create, such that you have a social pressure around you, and such that you can practice keeping your word around becoming who you came here to be. What is it for you? What do you even want to become? Let's break that down. You want to become a doctor, a YouTuber, a surgeon, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a therapist, a book writer? Who do you want to become? Break that down into the goals that you have to set for yourself and the actions you have to set for yourself and the results that you need to create for yourself, such that you can slowly inch your way towards actually becoming that person. If you look at all the people that you admire, and if you want to make a plan to actually acquire those things, you have to set out specific, concrete, measurable results that you can create for yourself. Now, what is that for yourself? Very honestly, ask yourself this question. What results do I need to create? What results have I been procrastinating on creating? Because the thing is that it's a funny thing where procrastination usually has to do with things around creating results. Have you ever noticed that? I noticed this specifically, for example, when creating YouTube videos. It's like, when I started to make a decision around creating some results around a YouTube video, the actual action of creating it, I noticed massive amounts of resistance, massive amounts of procrastination. And I'm like, oh, that's what being a YouTuber is like. That's the procrastination that a creative experiences. It's so funny, and I reframe it as like, oh, this must be my art then, because I have the most resistance towards it. Like for me, I can write easily. I can write for days. Writing the YouTube scripts was fine, but actually filming it and doing all that stuff was just like, holy fuck. These are easy for me. But the actual planned videos, that's a whole different story. And what I noticed is that like, I had to really reevaluate what the fuck I was doing, because I noticed that there was a massive amount of resistance in me just to create these simple results, like to write, film, edit, and do all the other jazz around making a YouTube video. It really became extremely clear to me that like, yeah, this is one of those things where it's like, you have to be so accountable to yourself that like, all right, what results did I create today? And so this goes with everything, with your fitness too. Like, why the fuck haven't you comprehended your macros and actually started to measure out your foods if you want to get into shape? Why the fuck haven't you created a system where you are measuring how much you're lifting, and counting the reps if you're greasing the groove all day and all that jazz? And you're trying to build strength that way? What is it for you? What results do you need to create for your life? Just for yourself today. It doesn't even have to be for like just your career, but also for your own personal development goals as well. What results would you even pay for? What results would you massively benefit from if you had them right now? That actually opens up a lot of doors. If you want to get some life coaching or pay an expert to give you valuable information, or if you want to buy a course on something. Like, you can save so much time just with that kind of idea, where you focus on, okay, what results do I want to create, and where can I find information and resources to help me create that result in the most efficient way possible. A lot of times we're going to be procrastinating in ways of, oh, I'm just going to read one more book, or, oh, I'm just going to do research in this way. It's like, when I wrote my book, of course, it's not finished yet, but when I put my first 130,000, well, no, technically, when I put 230,000 words down in my book, so right now it's 130,000 words in the main document and 100,000 words in the trash. To actually put that amount of words on the page, I made a decision to myself, was like, no. I made a decision to not read any more books and to not research any more, and to just focus on creating the result of writing fucking words on a page and then organizing into a chapter, and then, combing through it, making it more and more intelligible, making it more structured, all that jazz. It is only now, so I've shelved it several months ago, it is only now that I'm starting to read more books, because I've created the result already. I've already exhausted all the action that I think I can take before I need to go back and do some more research. A lot of times we will have the scales, when it comes to action versus theory versus action, or theory versus practice. We'll have way too much on the theory. Way too much. We need to really, a lot of times, for most of us, that message, the message for us is we need to tip that scale right into action. Most of your self-improvement is going to come from that action, right? An ounce of action is worth a pound of theory. If that's said correctly. Yeah. Let's say theory is 98% of actual change, whereas action is the 2% that creates 98% of the results. Or whatever, Most of the results are going to come from that action. So, if you're in need for this message, I want to remind you to have results-oriented action, such that you're focused on creating results for yourself. And you're not dilly-dallying with whatever theory, such that you're just getting yourself distracted into an oblivion. Because one of the biggest traps that people fall for in self-improvement is distraction. Distraction with getting more and more theory and not doing any action. And then they start to question self-improvement as a whole. And I remember someone made a thread about this online, and I responded no. If it's not improving you, it's not self-improvement, it's distraction. And my God, do we just distract ourselves to the point of oblivion, where we don't even do any service for ourselves. We'll go thousands and thousands of hours reading theory after theory after theory and not taking any action at all. And then what ends up happening is that you shoot yourself in the foot, because then you think that you're going to be masterful in taking the perfect action because you have all this theory behind your belt. But actually, counterintuitively, what you end up doing is that you end up shooting yourself in the foot, because you've built up such a massive amount of theory that you feel actually too intimidated to start doing any action. You're level 100 in theory, but you're level 1 in action. And the only way to level up your action skill is to actually by taking more action. And so when we have a very low ability to take that action and to create those results and to actually follow through with habits and wake the fuck up on time and get into that routine, when we fail to do that, even though we have all this theory, we get massively discouraged. And then we don't even want to make the emotionally difficult decision to actually bite the bullet and lean and tilt our scales towards having a lot more action in our lives to actually create the results that are going to create the change that is worthwhile, and that's the change that's actually going to stay with us. So here is a good exercise for you. Start writing down what results are you after right now. The more concrete, the more specific, time-bound, the better. Such that you can actually start to create a real pressure on yourself. Create a social pressure on yourself. That's great too. Such that it becomes realistic in your mind. Like, oh shit, I need to stop distracting myself with YouTube and actually start to get up early and focus and actually get this done. Otherwise, the result will never come. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.